Sometimes, in sports, an individual makes a contribution so significant that their name becomes synonymous with that sport. In Sudbury, Ontario, Sid Forster was football. Forster founded the Sudbury Spartans in 1967 and was the team's first head coach until his death in 1994. During those many, mostly successful years, he built a rapport with players, opponents, and the entire community. When times were tough for football in Sudbury, he always stepped forward and did whatever it took to ensure the game's survival. In 1993, he was instrumental in the formation of the Joe McDonald Youth Football League, a league which continues to provide competition for boys and girls between 10 and 15 years of age. Forster was widely respected for his phenomenal football knowledge and untiring dedication to the game. He was the recipient of many awards. This included being selected 7 times as the Northern Football Conference Coach of the Year and induction into the NFC Hall of Fame. While he was known for his intensity on the sidelines, he's most likely remembered for his marvelous sense of humor and hilarious stories.
Sid at that time was working for Labatt's in Windsor. He said to me, how would it be if I came back and I coached the team? Sid impressed me, and I said, well, when do you want to start? And not thinking, that he would come, but he said, hey, I can start tomorrow. I said, well, what about your job? Oh, he says, I'll quit, which he did. He quit his job to come to Sudbury to coach the Sudbury Spartans. We were pretty small potatoes, and we were unable to to beat our way out of a paper bag at that time. And he coached here for 28 years, and I don't know how many championships he won, but quite a number. Sid, when he would have the first practice of the year, he really went all out, and he'd run them and exercise them heavily. And then he'd give them a speech about how important it was to play football and to play the game of football for the Spartans. He said, naturally, he says, I know family comes first, work second, after that football. And if football doesn't come in that order, then we don't want you here. We just want you to be completely dedicated to football outside of family and job. He treated boys like men and sometimes men like boys. He demanded the best effort from everybody. He would put in 80 hours a week in football, not counting his job. Sid never got paid, never got paid. Before we started the Joe McDonald League, there were only 2 high school teams in the city. And now there are 6. Sid started it. He went to almost every game. It was all his ideas, and it's been very successful. Sid, I don't think that anything that you thought of achieving in your lifetime in football, that anything could please you more than being nominated to go into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. I'm sure that you're just delighted. You'd be just delighted. I can just imagine you jumping all over the place with excitement. It is wonderful.
Sid was a kind of guy that you could hate him and love him at the same time. He was tough on everybody. Like, he treated everybody the same, and that's why a lot of players, he might have had problems with them, but in the end, they got to admire him and see that what he had in mind for them was only to their benefit. His humor, his ability to put desire in men. We were going out of town on a trip to play. There would be a briefcase come on the bus with Sid, and he would have a scouting report on the team we're going to play, which was all done by him, by hand. We were the first team in our league to film games. Everybody laughed at Sid doing it. He was a very positive guy on winning. And a lot of us could take a loss and understand there was always another day, but not Sid. There was no such a thing, especially if you lost to the Sioux or North Bay. That was really bad days. High school football was dying, Sudbury here. He was talking to me one night that he was going to have maybe enter a team with using the Spartan equipment in the fall in the high school league, using players that had no high school football in their school. I said, that's a great idea. I said, I even got a name for it. And he said, what's that? I said, the Paris Street Blues. The Hill Street Blues show was on, and I'm a TV addict. He thought about it for a minute. The next thing I knew was in the paper, the Paris Street Blues were going to play. But he loved the kids. The night he died, he was on the field for the Joe McDonald Youth Football Playoffs. He spent the whole day there with the kids. I congratulate you with great pride. I know that you're a Spartan, and we're all there with you. I wish the hell you were here with us.
I had heard a lot about this guy named Sid Forster and decided I was going to try out for the Sudbury Spartans. When I met him, instantly I loved the guy, respected every single word he said, and hung on every word he said. I don't think you can say there's one thing that made Sid Forster special. It was a total package. He had a lot of intensity. He was a funny man. He loved football. He loved to win, and he hated to lose. And he brought the best out in everybody. He was a perfectionist at what he did. He loved the game of football. He loved people. He would always say that teams down south might be bigger, stronger, and faster, but we would outwork them and outplay them and outsmart them. And we did for years. Sid knew their offenses and their defenses better than they knew their offenses and defenses. He would go through film after film after film. He was a very dedicated and serious man when it came to football. Sid loved kids. He loved sports. Sid loved Sudbury too, and he was proud to be with the Sudbury Spartans and go down south and win and say that we were from Sudbury. Sid, you've touched my life tremendously. I love you and I miss you tons. And thank you for everything that you did for me. And everything you did for all the kids in Sudbury. I'll never forget you. Thanks for everything.
I was struck by his confidence and his passion for this game that I was just starting to learn and enjoy. And it struck me that he just had a all-consuming love of it. He was a great teacher. The teaching revolved around understanding what your job was and how that meshed in with the whole team purpose. And that's something I hadn't ever been shown prior to that. I went on to play for the University of Ottawa, and I would come back every summer to play for Sid because there was that all-consuming love for it and that passion for it. He used to say to me, football's like lovemaking. 90% passion, 10% technique, and you have to have a passion for it. And he taught us how to win and how to lose graciously. Not that he liked to lose, but at least understand that was a consequence to not executing and playing the game with the passion that he loved, that he wanted from his players. And this is a man that never made any money off the game. He funded that team, himself and Phil Smith, for years and years, just because he loved it. He loved to see the game played, and played well. I just like to say that congratulations, Sid. You deserve it. And I'm honored to be part of this. I'm honored to be recognized as someone that might say some good things about you. And I'll never forget you. You touched me so much. I named my kid, my youngest son, his middle name is Forster. When I look at football, and I love football, and I know that love has come from something more than just the mechanics of it. It comes from the fact that I met a person that pursued the game for the love of it and taught us to love it.
Congratulations, Sid, from the Spartans. Your spirit is still with us.
Tonight, we honor the late Sid Forster, a true builder of the game. Welcome to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.